Hi, my name is Steve Brostowitz. I'm a teacher with transitional kindergarten, and first grade. And today I'm going to talk to you about how to teach children to treat people with disabilities. Well, the most important thing comes from a school-wide culture perspective. And it's our students with disabilities excluded to their own environment and own classroom. And they're seen as those kids off in the corner, off in the distance that we don't interact with, maybe a little different, a little scary. Or are they people that are included as part of the school community and they're seen just as any other child with strengths and areas of need? So the most important thing is from a school-wide perspective. We need to make sure students with disabilities are included in classrooms just as students who might be labeled as gifted are also included in classrooms. In the real world, you interact with everyone. When you go to the grocery store, to the bank, to the doctor's office, to your work environment, you have to have social skills and the know-how how to interact and be productive with all people. So why would our schools be segregated? So step number one is make sure kids, regardless of their descriptions or labels that we give them, are part of the classroom. And that's half the battle right there. I'm at a school that has inclusion as the model, regardless of a student's abilities or disabilities. And maybe the first couple weeks, students struggle a little bit and aren't sure what to do with the differences, but those are teachable moments. And you have those conversations on an individual level. You have those conversations as a class when things come up, and you work through that. And a couple months in the school year, students just know what to do. And they're learning that from age 5, 6, 7, and 8. By the time they're adults, they have the ability to communicate with anyone. The second thing, when there's a more trying area, a more difficult thing to work through with kids, when they're having trouble understanding kids and perhaps their behaviors or why they do the things they do, one thing that's very effective, not just with students with disabilities, but of all students, is social stories. And it's kind of like a story that we used growing up, any story that has a moral to it. With a social story, you pick a specific goal. So if this young child, these children were having trouble using safe hands and feet while playing soccer. So the staff developed a story where in that story there were specific morals as to how to be friendly and use safe hands and feet on the soccer field. And it says things like, when I'm playing soccer, I make sure I kick the ball and not my friend. When I'm playing soccer, I make sure that I don't jump on my friends. And these are things that you have to directly teach young children. Here was another issue when playing in the sandbox. Kids didn't know that they didn't need to keep sand in and not throw it, and that they needed to keep the sand in the sandbox and not dump it into the water fountain and clog up the pipes. So we had to explicitly teach that with role playing and with social stories. So you put together a social story, and you could draw this just on paper. You could put it on your chalkboard or your whiteboard. Or you could go as far as to find some images, maybe take an image of the kids playing if you want to go that far, and develop a story specifically around that target behavior. And you can make a social story about anything that's in need when students are having trouble working out those differences. This is Steve Brostowitz telling you a couple of ways to teach children how to treat people with disabilities. I'll see you next time.